Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. It's Allan Laboucan with the Rocks and Stocks News Show. Today, I've got one of my In the News programs. Got a heck of a good batch of news out from companies that I follow, either as sponsors or picks in my reports. And let's get right into it. I'm going to open up with the gold chart. And the reason for that is I'm seeing some action that is creating some tremendous opportunities for investors. I believe that the bottom here that happened in September, October, November was an important bottom, a triple bottom. Then we had a very significant run. It broke out well through the 50-day moving average. Then in December, it got through the 200-day moving average, had an exceptional January effect where it also had a golden cross. It's been weakening of late, and a lot of that has to do with action in the US dollar. I mean, that's a given when it comes to the price of gold, silver, copper, other metals. And other commodities that are priced in the US dollar, because that's the most closely watched price throughout the world amongst investors. And as it got weaker here and has now traded slightly below the 50-day moving average, the gold stocks and other metal stocks have been showing weakness. And I believe that this creates an excellent buying opportunity for investors. And I believe that it's short-term oversold in a bull market. And that happens. You know, we do see weakness in a bull market, just like you see strength in a bear market. You know, one of the good indicators of that is the US dollar. I got my, that's one of the companies I'm going to talk about today. Let me pull up TradingView and I will get the US dollar for you. There it is. Okay, so as we saw here, this is the US dollar and it's in a bear market, but in bear markets, you will see rallies. It went through a death cross in January, and I think it's short-term overbought. And so there you go. You can definitely see that you get these counter trend moves. And that's all I think that we're seeing here in the gold price. And the gold price is a sentiment indicator or a sentiment driver, if you will, for the price of various different metals and the stocks, because when gold gets oversold, the stocks get even more oversold. And again, I think that creates an excellent opportunity. All right, so let's get into the news. Here's the news from i-80 Gold that went out earlier today. i-80 Gold expands the high-grade mineralization in the hilltop zones at Ruby Hill. The upper hilltop zone had 1.7 grams of gold, 421 grams of silver, 6.9% zinc, 19.8% lead. I mean, you're talking about over, 25% of that is metals containing over 15.2 meters. Also, it had 25.3 grams of gold, 848 grams of silver, and 7.9% lead over 7.6 meters. In the lower hilltop zone, they had 4.2 grams per ton gold, 433 grams per ton silver, 20% zinc, 12.4% lead over 3.1 meters. Now, there was a couple of very interesting quotes I wanted to put in here. One is that, sorry, I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. The quote is from Ewan Downey, who's the CEO of i-80 Gold, and he stated, and I quote, "Ongoing drilling in the new hilltop discoveries," and I would emphasize discoveries, "continue to display grades that rank amongst the highest in any new discovery worldwide. 3 target areas along the hilltop fault structure were tested by drilling in 2022, all of which intersected polymetallic CRD and or skarn-based metal mineralization. These deposits are located in close proximity to the underground infrastructure being planned in 2023. End quote. Tyler Hill, who's the senior geologist, added, and I quote, "The 2023 drill program will also test several targets identified in geophysical surveys that are believed to be prospective for CRD, skarn, or porphyry mineralization as we seek to build on our highly successful 2022 exploration program at Ruby Hill. In addition to these exciting results, we have yet to test the hilltop corridor further south toward our Corp property boundary," end quote. You can see all the great results there. Here's a plan view where you can see the lower hilltop, the upper hilltop, the east hilltop, and they're all hitting these exceptionally good grades over very thick. Look at this east hilltop, 12.3% zinc over 39.6 meters. This has a CRD intercept that is assays pending, sitting out there all by itself. Here you've got the great continuity of that upper hilltop and something over here as well that looks quite exceptional, 25.3 grams of gold, 848 grams of silver, 7.9% zinc. The lower hilltop, again, excellent continuity. They show you some drill results here. Now I'm going to stop share for a second, and I'm going to go back into share screen of the this here. Just give me 1 second, and I will share my screen so I can show you on Google Earth here sort of what's going on. Here is the I-80 Gold's hilltop discovery. There's a series of discoveries in this area here. And Tyler Hill mentioned 2 important things. He talked about geophysics, and right in here is a big geophysical anomaly. Down here, and I'm going to talk about Paycore later, Paycore has a CRD as well. And sort of right in the middle of it, contained on the I-80 Gold ground, is a big geophysical anomaly. The other thing that Tyler mentioned was that they haven't even started to move south yet. And what they've found here on the, 4 zones or more is quite an exceptional CRD discovery. And it's open to the south, which is very exciting because that's where you run into the geophysical anomaly. You also have this network of faulting that is important for emplacement of not only the CRD, but this also has a high-grade overprint, high-grade to bonanza-grade gold overprint, and these faults will be important to that as well. I'm really excited about that geophysical anomaly. Now, later today, and I recommend you check it out, I-80 Gold will be doing a webinar. And I don't know if they mention it here. Let's see. Because they're going to talk about all these latest results and the geophysics. Yeah, there it is, Ruby Hill teach-in. It's at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So in a couple hours, hour and a half is when it starts. And I will be attending, and I hope you will as well, because they've got something very special here. All right, now I'm going to move over to Paycore. By the way, Paycore is the company that has the project. Let me just get back up there for a second, and I'll get back on Google Earth Pro. And so here's the I-80 Gold CRD. And then right here is where Ruby Hill, Paycore has found their CRD, and it has all the same characteristics: high-grade silver, lead, zinc, with an overprint of high-grade to bonanza grades of gold. All right, so let's go back, and I will get back on the Paycore news. And here is the news from Paycore. Paycore Minerals exploration update and 16,000-meter drill program to commence on the polymetallic FAD project in Nevada. They own 100% of it. Here's some of the highlights. FAD main zone exploration and definition drilling near historic non-43-101 resource, as well as step-out drilling to test the 1 kilometer down dip extension of the favorable host rock, which hosts mineralization at FAD. Initial 16,000 meters of drilling plan. Paycore drilling has confirmed existing mineralization and step-out continuity. Drilling has delineated a mineralized footprint of approximately 420 meters in strike length, up to 300 meters wide, with an average thickness of 34 meters using mineralized intervals. The Jackson Fault exploration drilling, which is a new target, a new mineralized discovery corridor with little drilling in over 50 years, underexplored and yet to be tested by Paycore. Really interested in this Jackson Fault because it looks like they've got CRD mineralization on both sides of that fault, and the mineralization is going down and towards that fault. They say multiple high-grade carbonate replacement discoveries along the Jackson Fault, most recently the high-grade CRD discovery made on the adjacent I-80 gold property called Hilltop. Historical data analysis and drill core relogging program. They were able to obtain a bunch of historical drill holes that they can use in their resource expansion. Historic drill core was discovered this past year, which is currently being analyzed for assay sampling. The additional geological data recently acquired along the historic drill core are believed to support the necessary requirements for an National Instrument 43-101 compliant resource estimate. Digitization of historic data is underway. Christina McCarthy, who's the CEO, stated, and I quote, "We recently announced the completion of the $18.4 million bought deal financing, upsized from $8 million at the start, and are now fully financed to execute our current exploration program on the FAD project. We will continue to focus drilling on the FAD main zone, which contains the historic resource. Additionally, we will allocate exploration drilling along the untested Jackson Fault, which is also associated with the I-80 Gold Corp's recent Hilltop discovery located directly next door. The historic core relogging program is well underway. We discovered nearly 20 holes of historic core, which were drilled in the 1950s and 60s. We are currently analyzing every box to determine if there are any zones of interest," end quote. So they've got a heck of a situation here. This is the zones that that are part of the resource and part of the expansion drilling, still wide open at depth. As you can see here, they've been expanding it. And as they go in this direction, they will soon run into that Jackson Fault. And it looks like at the other side of the Jackson Fault that they also have mineralization, which is quite exciting. Here's the FAD shaft. Here's the outline of the discovery so far. And I recently did an interview with Christina McCarthy that you can find on my YouTube channel at Rocks and Stocks News, or here on my, or also on my Substack at rocksandstocks.substack.com. We had a great conversation, and it really will help you understand more about Paycore. All right, the next company I'm going to talk about is Faraday Copper. And as I was preparing for this show, I wanted to just show you how often you can tell a lot about a company's story from the headlines. So on January 10th, they announced that they intersected massive copper sulfide and they provided an exploration update. January 17th, they announced 15 meters at 10.83% copper, 1.65 grams of gold, and 55 grams of silver. January 31st, 33 meters at 3.43% copper, within 65 meters at 1.88% copper at their Copper Creek project in Arizona. Then they announced a $30 million bought deal financing. Then they upsized it, then they closed it, all within 12 days. And then today they announced, here, I'm going to click on that, 52 meters of 1.05% copper. And they also intersected 19.6 meters of 2.24% copper. Yeah, this thing is looking quite exceptional. Look at the high grade continuity. Excellent stuff. This is a very important copper project in Arizona. Arizona is known for a very important copper mining state, and they've got something very special there. I still believe the stock is very undervalued. I'm working to get them on an interview. I believe strongly in what they have. And, you know, when big institution and large investors are throwing money at a project, they don't throw $34 million at a project because it's a so-so project. It's an excellent project. And as they do more drilling, I think they will continue to show that this is a project that will become a future mine. You just don't get the kind of results that they are getting very often, especially in elephant country. And I really like how this story is lining up. All right. Faraday Copper had news out yesterday that I believe that diamonds could be the best contrarian play in the whole mining sector. The reason I say that is that of the price of diamonds are trading at record highs. Meanwhile, the stocks in diamond companies are trading at, they're getting absolutely no love whatsoever. But an exciting time can often happen in exploration, and I think VR Resources may be onto one of those exciting times. Why I say that is that they have announced that they've hit a new kimberlite, which is likely part of a kimberlite field in Eastern Canada, in Ontario, Northern Ontario. Now, one of the things that really stands out to me is that you look down here. So this is a magnetic low. That is where they hit the kimberlite. Then they've added more projects with similar, more ground with similar geophysical anomalies. Here is a model of what they think that they've hit. This hole here probably clipped the side of a kimberlite pipe. You can learn from that because here you've got a thick intersection. It keeps on going. And then these pipes are often like this shape. And the fact that they kept on drilling suggests that it is a classic shaped kimberlite pipe. Now, one thing that really stands out to me is this picture here. This is a picture of an eclogite, xenolith. So this comes from deep in the upper mantle, or down in the upper mantle. And I can see some eclogitic garnets here that they haven't done the probing of yet. These eclogites are very important because in an eclogitic diamonds, they tend to have very high grades to them. Lots of diamonds are contained in these eclogites. I'm really interested to see the composition, the chemical composition of these indicator minerals. I spent a good part of my career in diamond exploration. In fact, I co-authored a peer-reviewed paper on unique diamond indicator minerals and their importance in exploration. And I think that they're going to come out with some very interesting geochemical analysis of their diamond indicator minerals. At the early days of finding a kimberlite, you have to rely a lot on the diamond indicator minerals because the diamond indicator minerals are much more prolific in a kimberlite than the diamonds are themselves. So what you look for are unique compositions, chemical compositions of those indicator minerals, because they tell you that when they have certain chemical compositions, they are known to come from a part of the upper mantle called the diamond stability field. And how they're known to be so important is oftentimes they will be attached to a diamond or inside of a diamond. Then you do electron microprobe analysis where you get the chemical composition of those indicator minerals. And certain compositions are known to occur with diamonds, and some of them are only known to occur in diamond mines. And another thing that's really interesting about this project is that, I'm going to scroll down here, and they also put out, here's another nice looking diamond indicator mineral with some excellent size to it, some good looking kimberlite. This is in the area, it's not in the immediate area, but there are some interesting, it's in an interesting place in that one of Ontario's mines, or the only mine, was the Victor mine. And what made the Victor mine so special is that it had extremely high quality diamonds in it. I was fortunate enough years ago to go to the PDAC, and De Beers had a display where they showed the run of mine diamonds, comparing it to their other diamond mines, and it was off the charts. The amount of clear and diamonds was and shapes of those diamonds that are they create good recovery for the making of polished diamonds was just off the charts. And this is in the same craton as the Victor pipe. So, you know, it's always an exciting time for me as a diamond exploration guy to see when a new kimberlite is found. I'm going to be watching this VR Resources very closely to see what the indicator minerals look like. And then they're doing also analysis for diamonds. And this is all very important stuff, but that's not their only project. They have other projects. In fact, I'm reaching out to Mike Gunning, who runs the company, and I want to get him on a show so that we can talk about all of their projects. But today I wanted to highlight this kimberlite discovery in Northern Ontario. I'm very optimistic about what they're going to show in their diamond indicator minerals and the diamond potential of this kimberlite. All right, the next company I'm going to talk about is Orogen Royalties. Orogen Royalties had news out today. Orogen Royalties provided Silicon royalty update. So they have a 1% royalty on a project that's being very aggressively worked by AngloGold Ashanti in Nevada, in the western side of Nevada. They announced total resources of 4.2 million ounces, including indicated resources of 23.4 million ounces gold and inferred resource of 800,000 ounces. Orogen holds a 1% royalty on 79 square kilometers of ground at the Silicon project, which includes two key deposits. One is Silicon, and then to the south is Merlin. As you can see here, indicated resource 121 million tons, grading 0.87, which is very good for an oxide deposit for 3.4 million ounces, signaling a full conversion from inferred resources ounces that they announced in 2022. Additional inferred resources of 36 million tons for 0.8 million ounces. A Silicon pre-feasibility study will integrate the Merlin area for potentially large-scale mining activity and is expected to be completed in 2023. Over 50 million has been spent in the Silicon camp in 2023, including 12 drill rigs. AngloGold Ashanti thinks they've got something very big on their hands. Finding big oxide deposits is not easy these days. The state of Nevada has been very well picked over for oxide deposits over the last 50 years. But the Silicon project and the deposit and the Merlin sitting right beside it looks quite exceptional. Paddy Nicol, who is Orogen's CEO, commented, and I quote, "The announcement by AngloGold Ashanti represents another step forward in the development of the Silicon camp and adds value to our 1% NSR royalty. Resources at the Silicon deposit have increased in both confidence and size. The pre-feasibility study will now incorporate drilling from the Merlin area, underscoring the scale and importance that Merlin could bring to the development of the Silicon project. We look forward to additional details during 2023. With the AngloGold Ashanti spending so much money, I think I think this is going to be a future mine, and probably not too far into the future, which will be very meaningful for Orogen Royalties, 1% royalty on the project. They also have their other cornerstone project is their Ermitaño royalty of 2%. Ermitaño is one of First Majestic's best performing mines, and that's an excellent asset. And then Orogen Royalties has a whole slew of other projects. In fact, I'm working on an interview with Paddy Nicol for today sometime, and we'll talk about this news and review some of their other projects. But I'm a big fan of Orogen Royalties because they are at a seminal moment for a royalty company that formerly only had projects with royalties on them, but they were not cash flowing. Now at Ermitaño, they've got a 2% royalty that's cash flowing. They look like they have another one that will be cash flowing. And then they have a whole pipeline of other projects in partnership with juniors and major mining companies that look quite exceptional as well. And that's what I'll get Paddy on to talk about, is all of their various assets. So stay tuned for that show later today or tomorrow. So there you go, folks. Another of my In the News shows, and had a good mix today. Two companies in Nevada with exceptional CRDs, one company in Arizona with copper, a company in Ontario with a new kimberlite discovery perspective for diamonds, and a royalty company. As always, my shows are for information purposes only. It's important to speak with your financial advisor before making any investment decisions, and also very important to do your homework. go to these companies' websites, check out their news releases, check out their corporate presentations. I've done interviews with 3 out of the 5 companies today, and I'm working on interviews with the others. But those interviews you can find on my YouTube channel at Rocks and Stocks News, or on my Substack at rocksandstocks.substack.com. And that's another good place to do your homework. On that note, have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.